Hey everybody, great to be learning with you today as we begin our study of the topic of Kibud Av V'Em, honoring one's father and mother, part of our Spotlight series on different topics in Halakha. In today's lesson, we'll have a chance to learn two things. The first is to understand the significance of Kibud Av V'Em and to see why it's given such importance in the Torah. And the second is to identify two separate aspects of this mitzvah, a mitzvah that is traditionally defined as just honoring parents, but as we'll see, includes much more. Our parents do so much for us, starting with the moment that we're born, and continuing after that, providing us with food and shelter, clothing, and of course, lots of love. And it is for that reason that the Torah gives the mitzvah of honoring parents such priority, including it even in the Aseret HaDibrot. It is, of course, the fifth commandment in the Ten Commandments, and is the bridge between the first four commandments, focusing on our relationship with God, and the remaining five commandments, focusing on our relationship with man. The Torah actually writes very specifically about how to honor one's parents, and says the following: Kabed et avicha v'et imecha, honor one's father and mother, leman yarichun yamecha, so that your days are lengthened, al ha'adama asher Hashem Elokecha noten lach, on the land, on the earth upon which God has placed you. And here actually, even though the Torah only mentions the verb of kabed, which means to honor, teaching us the imperative to honor one's parents, there's a separate commandment that is included here, which is morah, provided in a different source, which we'll explore together in class. These two aspects, kavod, honor, and morah, respect or fear, work together to combine one total mitzvah obligation that we'll have a chance to explore together in some more detail in just a moment. The Torah tells us that when it comes to the mitzvah of honoring and respecting one's parents, there's a very unique reward that is given. Laman yarichun yamecha, a reward of long life. In fact, there are only two mitzvot in the entire Torah that have this kind of reward attached to it, Kibud Av V'Em, and the mitzvah of shiluach hakein, sending away the mother bird. In class, we'll have a chance to look at those two mitzvot and see the similarities between them, and to understand in more detail what is meant by this offer of long life. How can Hashem promise that to anybody? And does that mean that someone who doesn't live a long life didn't do this mitzvah, and that someone who does the mitzvah automatically lives a long time? That's something we'll explore together in class, but the Torah is very clear. Laman yarichun yamecha, if a person fulfills the mitzvah of Kibud Av V'Em, he or she is offered the reward of a longer life. But let's take a look now at two different aspects of Kibud Av V'Em, starting with kavod, actions that show honor. These actions, which we'll see in just a moment, are complemented by another set of obligations known as morah, actions that show respect. When we look at kavod, kavod would refer to any action that would be a positive action. Actions like bringing your parents food and drink, or helping them out with their transportation, especially as they get older and require you to help them get from place to place. Especially when parents age and may need help managing their finances, this would be another aspect of kavod, actions that all show things that we should do. On the other hand, you have morah, which would be the reverse of kavod. These would be things that you should not do. Things like don't raise your voice to your parents, or don't publicly contradict your parents and go against what they say. Don't sit in your parents' seat is another example of morah, showing an action that all share one thing in common, things that we should not do, things that we should avoid. So when you put these two together, you have kavod, actions that we should do, and morah, actions that we should not do. When we return together in class, we'll have a chance to explore kavod and morah in some more detail, as well as look at some case studies that will help us better understand some practical applications of Kibud Av V'Em, and to better understand the promise of long life, so that we can understand the importance of this mitzvah and its significance to us in our everyday lives. Looking forward to learning that with you and continuing the conversations and the learning when we return.